Hello and welcome to the third chapter of Hands-On with Fujifilm GFX ETERNA 55. Today we're going to very quickly talk about the project settings menu, which is very important. So when we enter the project settings menu, the first thing that you will see up there is something that is called image format. Image format is basically the area of the sensor that you're going to be capturing. And tied in with that, you then get other options for aspect ratios and frame rates. The different choices you have for image format are things like GF, and that is the full width of the sensor. There is Premista, and that is a slightly smaller image area that is specifically oriented for the Fujinon Premista line of zoom lenses. And then you will see 35 millimeter, and you'll also see super 35 millimeter. So those are the corresponding image areas for those different sizes. So if you have lenses that were designed for super 35, you would put the camera into the super 35 mode. And if you have large format lenses or old legacy, say converted medium format still photography lenses that are very popular now, then you could use the GF mode. The important thing is that you need to match the lens coverage with whatever image format you choose. Underneath that is an item called resolution. So this will change, as I said, depending on the image format that you selected. And here you can choose the 4K open gate for GF. You can do 16 by 9, 17 by 9, HD, and then there's different resolutions such as 4K, 5.8K, and those again will change depending on the image format. Project FPS. So this is what you're going to be editing in or what you're going to be distributing in. So you might be recording in one frame rate, and your project FPS might be something else. For example, if you're going to do slow motion, you might choose a project FPS of 24, but you might actually do a recording FPS of 48 frames a second or 60 frames per second, and that is how you get slow-mo. Other items in here that are important to pay attention to is going to be this one, F-log HLG. And this is quite important because this is going to determine the tone curve and dictate the amount of dynamic range that you will get in your recorded file. So you do have one option, which is called film simulation. If you choose film simulation, this will keep your recording in the Rec. 709 color space, but it gives you the option to then choose in the film simulation menu the different Fujifilm film simulations that we have included in the camera body. There are 20 of them built into the camera body. These are very pretty, very beautiful, and these are ways to get basically a graded look that you pre-select ahead of time instead of using a log tone curve that you'd need to color correct later. So in that F-log choice, now if I don't choose film simulation, I have F-log 2, regular F-log, and F-log 2C. F-log 2 and F-log 2C are the same tone curve, they're the same dynamic range, but what's different about them is the color gamut, the color space that they utilize. So F-log 2 uses the F-gamut color space, and that is equal to Rec. 2020. F-log 2C, however, makes use of the F-gamut C color space that Fujifilm developed to give you extended range in color capture. So it is 80% of the theoretical color space known as ACES. It's almost a range of human vision. So we did that in order to give you far better color accuracy and color reproduction when you get into post-production. And lastly, you can choose HLG, which stands for Hybrid Log Gamma, and that is sort of a combination of a Rec. 709 look in the shadow areas, and then more of a log look as you get up into the midtones and highlights. Farther down in the project setting menu, you will come across the media rec setting, and this is quite important. So under rec media is your choice of your destination of where you want your recordings to go. Slot 1 is the CF Express Type B card. Slot 2 is a SD card. You'll also see options for backup and sequential and SSD, so a solid state drive. On the back of the camera is a USB-C port that we've talked about before. When you plug in an SSD drive into that, the camera will automatically detect it and it will start recording to that. You will need to initialize your SSD from the camera when you plug that into the USB-C. Next line down is file formats. You have two choices of recording containers. One is MXF, which gives you more choices for more extended metadata, and the other is the MOV file container, which is very common across many, many cameras. The media rec setting line gives you your choice of compression, your codec. So here you have H.265, all intra or GOP, and then you also have ProRes HQ, ProRes 422, and ProRes LT. The last thing in that item is going to be proxy. So you can choose whether to have proxies or not. This only works if you have ProRes enabled to begin with, and your proxy choices are H.264 or ProRes proxy. Now, these will be recorded to the CF Express Type B card in a separate folder that is called proxy. The next item down is called clip setting. The first thing you'll come across is the camera ID. And this is where you determine which camera you're recording to. Typically on a motion picture set, the cameras are given letter names, A, B, C, D, etc. A camera tends to be the most commonly used camera throughout the production, or it's the primary camera that's usually for the main actor. But this is where you decide the lettering that is going to start the file naming sequence. So this letter that you choose here will be the first character in the file name for all the files that you record on that camera. And the second thing is real number. The real number here starts with 1, and it will count up 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be sequential as you put new memory cards into the camera throughout the duration of your project. So that's it. That covers all the important things in the project settings. Thank you for joining me.